Hey, it's Maritza from No Fluff Zone here, and today I wanted to share with you the evidence or gathering evidence part of the SPADE reading strategy. So, this, in my opinion, it's probably the least loved child of the SPADE strategy, if that makes sense. This is the one that usually it's not that teachers don't care for it, but it's towards the end of the lesson, of the whole group reading lesson. So most of the time, it just kind of gets rushed, right? And I can honestly say that I think we've all been there where we have to pick the answer. So we pick the answer and we just tell the kids, go back in this page and find the answer, paragraph, whatever. So you're pretty much telling them where the answer is because of time. Because then you have to go to your next lesson or your next rotation or whatever the case may be. But this is something that really does take time and practice. And once you do it, you will see the rewards of it, right? So, and in my opinion, teaching gathering text evidence to support an answer, it's like teaching estimation to children. It's to a point where one child will say this, a specific answer, and the other child will say other text evidence that supports their answer best, right? And they might have the same answer or similar answers. And it's really difficult sometimes in a standardized test to gauge what text evidence statements best supports an answer. I've seen it in the reading test here, the biweeklies that we do. They pretty much make it really like obvious, really like dumb choices. But at the same time, I feel as if sometimes that kind of is not teaching or assessing the skill correctly, because the answers sometimes are it's so obvious which one's the text evidence answer. At least to me it is, that if they don't pick that answer, then you definitely know that they don't have the reading comprehension skills to even read at grade level, right? So this is where you come in as an instructor, as an educator, and you scaffold the skill. So when I'm annotating the text, right, I try to gather three categories or three types of text evidence statements for the question. And when I annotate the text, I use the little page that I'll link in the description below. And I pick something that's obviously wrong, but kind of makes sense with the answer, right? I pick something that kind of answers the answer, but it's not the right answer. And then we pick the best text evidence statement to support the answer. So what I do is I put three of them there. We put them together. We answer the question, and then I pretty much force them to pick the best text evidence statement that supports our answer, and then they have to highlight it, right? So when you're annotating the text, I emphasize putting quotation marks, the page number, the paragraph number. I emphasize all those skills because when I taught third grade, it was very difficult when they didn't come with, when I said, okay, we're going to cite the text, and they didn't know what that was. So at least I try to scaffold instruction to a point where in third grade, they just need to learn the reading skills that I wasn't able to teach them, which is because it's not part of the curriculum, right? So when you're gathering text evidence, that's what I do. They highlight it, and then I walk around and I check. So you'll have the struggling children that will say, oh, I don't want to go back in the story. I remember in the middle of the story, in the beginning of the story. So you'll have two types of text, right? You'll have the fictional stories, which have usually the beginning, middle, and end. And then you'll have the nonfiction stories those are the ones that are pretty difficult to gather text evidence because the children are trying to just understand the topic, right? So this is where I refer to my posters, The Worm and Katie. So an explicit question, when according to the text, what happened after the author bit into the apple? So when you think of after, you think towards the end, right? Towards the end of the sentence or the story. So I would tell the children, look for the word bit into, because bit into is one of those words that is, like, to me, I guess it's a location word. So if you were to go back in the story and you were to find that word, it will tell you the location or when the question is being asked or whatever, or when the author has the text evidence that would answer the question that's being asked, right? So bit into, here it is. So you would go after, right? A little worm came wiggling out. Quotation marks. So I will refer to it. Let's think about the worm. Let's go back. What did we look for? Bit into. In this question, what can we look for? What word can we look for? You know? And that's how I'm building it to a point where I have at least 50% of my learners, my readers, they can do it by themselves. When I put the SPADE strategy page out, they're begging me to do it by themselves. And I'm like, okay, guys, we have to do one together, and then one, you could do one by yourself. Because I still have to reach the children, or at least expose the children that are in that grade level to what an explicit question is. And then you go to Katie, the implicit question, right? How do you think Katie feels about her mother? When Katie got home, she ran to greet her mother with flowers she just picked. It's not explicitly said in there. It doesn't say Katie loves her mom. It doesn't say that. So we have to use keywords to infer or draw a conclusion, right? Or make a connection to answer it. So if she ran home, she was eager to see her mother. You're usually eager to see people you love. She picked flowers for her mother. When you give a gift to someone, it is because you care about them. So these are the things that, to me, this is the hardest to teach, the implicit. Because these are the why questions. The why or sometimes the how. How did the character feel? How does the speaker feel about, you know, cats or kittens? And this one, they just like to guess. But you have to make them accountable. You have to tell them, even though it's not written in the story, what keywords help you answer that text evidence? You know, what text evidence helps you answer that question? So that's what I do. That's what I've done. And so far, it's worked for me. I can honestly tell you, it takes a lot of time management. It takes a lot of like, put a timer and let's go. And when I'm annotating text evidence, I tell them I give them a minute, but I give them 2, really. They don't know because I have the timer. And it has forced them to just move. Towards the end, we usually have 5 minutes to use text evidence. And that's, to me, it's not enough, but that's the most I'm going to get out of a 30-minute whole group block. And that's it. So if you have any comments or suggestions on maybe how you as a teacher do the gathering text evidence and you'd like to share that with us, put it in the comments below. Or if you're a student and maybe you have a strategy that your teacher has taught you how to gather text evidence, I think that would be cool for, you know, teachers and students to start collaborating, especially teachers. How can we help our students more? And our students, what has worked for them? Because most of the times as teachers, we just go by what we think has worked for them. And that'd be cool. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give me a like if you like this video. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye.